composer of the Mummers Masque that's coming up soon at Toronto Masque Theatre. And one of the big instruments featured in this kind of Newfoundland-based dance opera foolishness is an ugly stick. And we premiered this opera back in 2009 with Ed Reifel, the percussionist, playing the ugly stick. And this is most of the ugly stick, but it's come to a bad fate and it's been broken since that time. So the requirement is to make a new ugly stick. So I thought I would show you the process, or pull back the curtain to see the process of building a brand new ugly stick. Essentially, ugly stick is a Newfoundland instrument that would be found in outports where people couldn't afford instruments or didn't have instruments. So it's a stick, like you can see, often with a lovely boot here at the bottom, and then various kind of noise makers that are added to it as well too. And it's played. I don't have another stick with me now. You got a stick there, buddy? So it would be basically played as a percussion instrument. That kind of thing. But as I mentioned, we need a new ugly stick. So I'm here at the studio of my friend Dave Windsor from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
Corner Brook.
I always say that.
I know.
From Corner Brook, Newfoundland. Dave, come in.
He's by.
Dave and I have played in a band together for a few years now, and he is a woodworker. The last time I made the ugly stick, I made it myself, which may have contributed to the fact that it broke. And I don't know if any of you guys saw that production, but when Ed was playing it, the thing was falling apart in the performance. So I figured I'd rely on a bit more of a professional now. So we're going to start building a new ugly stick. And the first thing you need is a mop or a broomstick or something like that. So Dave, you got the mop?
What mop?
Well, we went to the store and actually got a dollar store mop, which was actually $3. And that's the way the world is going. So this is basically a great start for an ugly stick. And in fact, you've got your hair and everything built in. I'm thinking about it a little bit more though. The Mummers Masque it needs something a little bit more. What we're going to go for here, because traditionally ugly sticks are really rough and tumble type instruments, but I want to try to make something which is a bit of a stronger musical instrument as well too. And so while this would be perfect, it's a little on the short side and it's also a little on the thin side. So we actually went to Home Depot and picked up this kind of fancier hardwood stick, and I think we're going to use this as the base this time. So we're going to modify that much. All right?
Yeah.
Perfect. What we've done is basically taken the long stick and cut it off so that it's not quite as tall as it was. And we do want the ugly stick to be a little uglier this time, or to have a little bit more style than the original. So we deheaded the mop, decapitated the mop, and we're going to use this a little bit for style in the new stick. You might notice that I have a little bit of an accent. Everyone asks me when I'm coming from Newfoundland where my accent is, and the line I always say is, well, come out and have a few beer and you'll hear it. And not that we're doing that now, but but I find when I'm around buddies from Newfoundland as well, it starts coming out a bit more.
What do?
The accent.
Whew, man. I've never smelled wood that bad.
Sort of reminds me of dumplings. Like
Well, I got that after you said it. We'll put these on the bottom again.
We need this though first, right?
Oh, it's not going to go through all that.
That's the size.
I knew there was something there.
All right, after a bit of playing around, we've come up with, I guess, what you call the head assembly. We, like I said, we're going for trying to add the mop. The mop, kind of the hair type thing, is a very standard thing in ugly sticks. Sometimes it kind of gets in the way, but we like it getting in the way because, like I said, we want a little bit more personality to it this time. And so by moving it around, we're getting kind of a nice sound, and I'll show you a little closer. On the top, now this is an actual cymbal, a small cymbal, so we're cheating a little bit because really with ugly sticks you go for what you find in the shed, but underneath is this this kind of not tin or some sort of plate that I found at a second-hand store that was on the original as well, and gives kind of a real nice. Oftentimes you see like tin cans and stuff on the top, but I feel like we've got a good start for the head. So Dave had the idea to put these eyes on it, made out of these little finger symbols. What's the washers for, Dave?
Just to isolate the screw from the metal of the chime and to keep it straight.
A big thing when you're trying to make an ugly stick and you're trying to get different kind of interesting sounds and stuff is to try to make sure that nothing is jamming the sound. When we put the beer bottle caps on, I'll show you that the number one trick of making an ugly stick that I learned from the first time round. But so oftentimes, even though oftentimes what we're trying to do is just kind of make sure that the metal is isolated from anything that's going to keep it from resonating.
What do we want? Like,
and you got some springs on there too, right?
yeah, to keep them out front. I like that.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, let's do one here. Put this on a bit higher so I don't hit the other screw.
We pilfered a little bit of a wood block here that Dave had added to the other ugly sticks a while ago. So we're going to repurpose it. Again, this would not be typically found in a Newfoundland workshop, but
You can make one pretty easy.
this is a Toronto, Newfoundland ugly stick. Global. It's a global ugly stick. Again, some personality there. I think this would be at home on the Muppets. But also a fully functioning musical instrument. All right, what should we move on to next, Dave?
And the sleigh bells, maybe?
Sleigh bells, all right. Again, we found some of these kind of sleigh bells. That's the key about it. Basically, whatever you can find that makes noise, that you can stick on the thing somehow, goes. So we've got these kind of sleigh bells on a leather strap that we're going to destroy now as well. With a hacksaw, apparently. What do those look like?
The choker. The choker. We could put one there.
Does it look like a choker?
Like,
Does
yeah.
it look like poops?
You could put one like a choker there, right?
What do we got?
We'll put the choker just
On the ground.
on the floor. Just below the hair, like a choker.
This is turning into some sort of what's an item of bondage or something.
We'll take her to the parlor before she gets paid.
We've just been debating other features that we're going to add to the stick now as we move down. And one of the things that was added to the first ugly stick, which you can tell now is being disassembled, is a kind of grooves on here. And I've seen a lot of times where the beater, or actually I've actually heard this called the bow too, because of the kind of the look of it. I've seen a lot of times where, and sometimes this is, I mean, we're just using a dowel right here. I think Ed, last time when he did it, the percussionist used a pair of drumsticks, so it's really whatever you hit it with. But I've also seen a lot of them that have been made out of old axe handles and that kind of thing. Oftentimes you'll find like grooves in the actual stick, sometimes even have jingles on the actual beater, so that you kind of actually do kind of bow it. So we were debating which one we would do, and this little bit of rhythm, this little bit of groove pattern here actually really works really well. So I think we're going to have a little groove, let's call it the groove strip. We're going to add a groove strip to the ugly stick. And then maybe afterwards we'll go out to the groove strip. I don't know what that means. Dr. Dave has decided to go with a, what'd you call that thing?
It's a drum sander.
Dr. Dave has decided to go with a drum sander for this particular part of the operation.
Go to the other end, please.
Yes, Dr. Dave.
Okay, we're going to put some grooves from here to here, maybe. Well,
Nope, grooves are down further than that. That's the handhold.
That's the beginning, from here to there, or so.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Smell that wood. It's really remarkable.
Need a new battery.
I don't know what kind of wood this is.
But this is lots of kinds of wood.
This is the first stinky
idea.
stick that's ever been created, I think.
I thought oak was bad.
Groovy.
Groovy.
All right, let's try out the grooves. It works.
Better than the other one.
Yeah. Excellent. So here's what we've done here. I've always felt like constructing an ugly stick is like a Jedi constructing their lightsaber.
Oh, really?
Are you a Star Wars fan, Dave?
Yeah.
You are?
I don't see the connection.
You don't see the connection. But Star Wars connects with everything.
This is a little lower tech.
Yes, perhaps,
Yes,
exactly.
perhaps, yes.
An ugly no one was ever killed by an ugly stick, not that we know of anyways.
Or ever fought with one, I don't think.
Hard to say. The night is young. All right. Next Jedi Dave. What do we move on to now? So, probably the beer caps. You want to leave enough room so that the beer caps don't get in the way, and so you want to have kind of a clean strike area, the strike zone, so to speak. As it were. Given the way the Toronto Blue Jays did this year. So I'd like to convey to you the single most important thing about making an ugly stick that I discovered 5-6 years ago in creating my first ugly stick for the Mummers Mask. Because one thing that an ugly stick has to have, I've been telling you it has to have a lot of noisemakers and whatever you can find works. The one thing it really has to have is beer bottle caps and a plethora, a large number of beer bottle caps.
That's no problem.
Which is not a problem. We had some sent in by some of the audience members from Toronto Masque Theatre. Plus, we had a few lying around as well. But here is the most important thing. A beer bottle cap has on the inside of the beer bottle cap, so the beer bottle cap has two bits. It has the outside and it has the inside. And the inside has kind of a plastic coating. What you need to do now essentially is you need to drive a nail through the beer bottle cap so that you get the cap with a hole in it. Just like that. If you drive the hole through the wrong way, if you drive the nail from the inside to the out, then essentially what happens when you're attempting to create a rattle like this is that the rubber part or the plastic part of the inside of the cap touches up against the metal, and you don't get any resonance. So this is the most important thing. When you're creating the holes using a nail, just driving a nail through your beer bottle cap, go from the outside in. That gives you metal on metal and gives you a really nice loud ringy resonance. So we have here.
Well, you had a couple last night, eh?
This is from this is from the planning session, so we're going to go ahead now and we're going to basically poke holes through these to create where's the original one? Oh, there we go. To create this kind of most important part of any ugly stick, the bottle cap assembly, we'll say.
It's important to have different kinds of beer caps too.
I think
they make different sounds.
Exactly. You want to have some good quality. I see that there's some kind of local Toronto craft beer in there as well too. Someone was clearly
Heineken.
Someone was clearly a big fan of Heineken. Not that we're looking for sponsors or anything. But yeah, you want your ugly stick to have some soul. I think we're going to take a few bottle caps from the other one as well too, because I remember I went with my wife to Mexico and brought back some Pacifico bottle caps, and you know, an ugly stick tells the story of one's life. This is how Dave gets hammered. Ah. We're going with holes that are slightly off-center as well, too. We think that they're going to give us a little bit more ring and a little bit more jingle-jangle.
The old triangle.
Because you could always use more jingle-jangle in your life.
Oh, bière des Trappistes.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one, actually. Whoever sent that one in has really good taste in beer. I just want to say.
Peroni.
Italian beer.
It adds that Italian sound to the shape.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a Stradivarius ugly stick.
Flying Monkeys.
Good Ontario craft beer. Fantastic. A little bit local. I don't think...
Magnum Opus.
I believe there's some Black Horse. I think there's some Newfoundland beer bottles on the other one, so we'll have to kind of incorporate a few of those as well.
Strongbow. Well, this isn't really beer, but gives that little bit of flavor.
That's right. Applewood smoked ugly stick. This is kind of a crucial step, as I mentioned, and if you've ever seen the YouTube video called Ultimate Ugly Stick Solo of Ed Rifle playing the original Mummers Mask, mid-performance, a bolt and beer bottle caps went flying. So it's something we'd like to avoid this time around. That was a pretty neat sound, actually. You could probably play an ugly stick with a drill.
Yeah. That's really loud because of no boots.
Right. And there are the beer bottle caps. So Dave, what do we got there now? We're working on the boot end.
Yeah, we can put a block on the end.
A block to hold on to the rubber boot, the goat rubber.
Cheap chaser.
The final touch of any ugly stick.
The boot.
You can put whatever you want on the end of the foot, but I always picture my ugly sticks with a good old...
see in all her glory.
Well, it seems like our ugly stick experiment has worked. I brought my accordion along, so we're going to try it out full on now. Thanks, Dave, so much for helping me out with this ugly stick.
You're welcome.
It's a thing of beauty. It's the prettiest ugly stick ever.